My name is Dillon Behr. I served in the U.S. Army from 2002 to 2010. Served as an 18 Echo, which is a Special Forces Communications Sergeant in the 3rd Special Forces Group. In all, I did 3 tours on my active duty to Iraq and Afghanistan. I was injured on the last mission of our deployment, probably 2 weeks before deploying back home to the United States. We had a high-value target of the Hezbollah Islamic group leadership that we were going after in the Nuristan province of Afghanistan, northeastern Afghanistan, up in the mountains. It was a high-value target that we were supposed to go after with a large contingent of Afghan commandos that we had been training for the last 6 months. So we started climbing the mountains, and as we got about halfway up to our target, the enemy combatants surrounded us from the high ground and started raining gunfire down on top of us. Myself and 3 other American Special Forces guys were critically injured. 2 of our Afghan counterparts, one interpreter and one of our Afghan commandos, were killed in battle, and several of us barely made it out of there with our lives. I actually had a moment where I thought that I was going to go, and my medic slapped me across the face and told me to wake up, that I wasn't going to die that day. So 5 months after my injury, I had my hip replaced, and then I had a whole year of physical therapy and rehabilitation after that I stayed at Walter Reed for. I had initially planned to stay in the military and go back to the Special Forces team, but once I had that prosthetic hip replacement, I realized that I wasn't going to be able to do the same job that I had before. So at that point, I started looking into my options. One was to go directly to work, and I wasn't sure exactly what I wanted to do at that point, so I decided to go back to school and get my master's degree. While I was finishing up my final months in the military and getting ready to move on to start my program at Georgetown, I got connected with Mike Conklin and Marty Kaplan from Sentinels of Freedom. And they told me a little bit about the Sentinels of Freedom program and how they could connect me with some mentorship and maybe help me out with some financials while I was going through school, so that I could focus primarily on going to school and not having to worry about my day-to-day expenses by having a job. And now I'm working as an insurance broker for cyber liability for a company called Risk Placement Services that's based out of Chicago. I actually made the connection with this current job that I'm at Risk Placement Services, through a Sentinels of Freedom mentor up in Chicago by the name of Timothy Raynor. He connected me with my current boss now, and it was just another example of Sentinels of Freedom continuing to help long after their obligation is done. I think I'm starting to get to the point in my life where I've benefited so much from a lot of different veteran service organizations and a lot of mentors, and I'm starting to get to a point where I can give back. I did that a little bit with CrossFit Walter Reed, and I'd like to continue doing that in other capacities as a professional mentor. Wherever the need is, I'd like to be available.